you want to play DS games on your PC? Do you want to use the best DS emulator with the best settings? Do you watch my stream or my YouTube videos and you go like, hey, why does this look better than mine? Why is this speed up so fast? How does he do this? So yeah, I'll be showing you how to set up a DS emulator, which is just the DS that plays on your PC. I'm going to be showing you how to make it look nice and how to speed it up right, because if you want to play Pokemon, you usually want to speed up the game. I use a specific version of Desmume that enhances 3D textures. I'm going to be linking it in the description of the YouTube video. Huge shout out to 4th Gen Gamer, whose video I got this from. I'm going to be linking his video and his channel in the description. The download for this will be linked there as well. So you're going to be downloading whatever's in the description. You're probably going to be getting a folder that looks something like this. There's some additional files in here that I've added that you don't need to worry about. So when you first open it, it's not going to look quite like this because I changed some of the settings on how this is shown. I have a pretty big monitor, 1440p, so I've enhanced the size of this quite a bit by increasing the window size to 3x. You can adjust that however you like. Let's load up a ROM. As for getting ROMs, I'm not going to be linking anything in the description because you're just going to have to find those yourself. But Google's your friend, just Googling whatever you find and then looking for .nds files. You should be fine. There's some sketchy shit out there, but if you're not like tech illiterate, you should be okay. Let's see. I'm going to be loading up a Pokemon ROM here. This is Blaze Black. This is what I'm currently playing on stream. The first thing you might notice is the big difference for this ROM, or for this Desmume version rather, is if we look at the intro screen here of this like Reshiram animation, this looks probably a lot more smooth than it would in other Desmume animations, and this is because of the 3D rendering of the thing, right? To get those settings in this version of Desmume, pretty much what you want to do is the big setting is the high resolution 3D renderer. This is, I think, the setting that only this has, and this goes all the way up to 4x, depending on what your GPU or CPU, depending on your settings, can handle. I have it set it all the way to high. This is just depending on what your PC can handle. The big thing here is your 3D settings right here, right? This is your setting. These OpenGL options are not going to be available to you outside of this Desmume version. Basically, the two options for 3D rendering in Desmume you have are between OpenGL and Soft Rasterizer. So I'm going to show this again because I think it was pretty hard to see. So your 3D settings are pretty much set by this high resolution 3D renderer. You can set this all the way up to 4x. And then in your 3D settings, you kind of want to choose between either the highest Soft Rasterizer option or the highest OpenGL option. The difference here is basically which part of your computer does the workload on the 3D rendering. The OpenGL will be more graphics card intensive, whereas the Soft Rasterizer, I think, only uses your CPU. The Soft Rasterizer is technically more accurate. If we change the settings here, maybe we can actually see this. Yeah, you can see that the 3D rendering changes here. It's pretty good still. We can also show the difference between the different high 3D rendering options. If we disable this, this is what the 3D rendering looks like, right? So I've found I get the best results if I set this all the way up, and then I set my 3D settings to OpenGL. This is also because I stream, is one of the reasons I use OpenGL, and because I stream from a single PC, my CPU does a lot more work than most computers will. So that's the big option, right? So this is what you do to make your 3D rendering look all nice and fancy. This matters not as much for Pokemon games, but it might. There's definitely differences that you can see in game as well. Just for like basic stuff, you might notice that I have like a big gap between my bottom screen and my top screen. This is just for like streaming purposes, for me to make it easier when I set something up on an overlay to like differentiate between the top and the bottom screen, because they sometimes like go over into each other and be kind of hard to like see that border. It's whatever, it doesn't really matter to you. But if you want to do that, you can go into screen gap and then you put that here. Magnification filter, I think, is always set to Super Eagle here. I'm not sure, but this is the best one anyway. If you're experiencing lag, another thing you can look into is the sound settings, actually. Depending on your synchronization method, you might get different results in terms of sound quality, but also in terms of rendering. I found that sync method N is the best here. You have to set to synchronous here to change these, I think. This is just what I've found works the best, so just copy this if you're experiencing issues there, or just play around with it, do some trial and error. A lot of these settings are just trial and error. There's one more option in emulation settings, which is the dynamic recompiler, which gives you a little bit better speed. So you want to enable this. Just makes everything a little bit smoother. As for speed up, I'm gonna go through over some control settings for the speed up stuff. Personally, I used to play with controller because it just made more sense. But over the years, I've found that most controllers are just kind of garbage. D-pads usually suck, or some of them just break after a while. I play a lot because I stream, so I've transitioned to using keyboard. It works better for me. I have a mechanical keyboard. Just depends on what you like, right? Now let's look into my speed up settings, right? So to speed up the game, I found the best way to do it is you want to go into frame skip here. You want to make sure to check limit frame rate, just makes it a little bit smoother when you're not speeding up. You want to auto minimize skipping, and you want to set this as high as possible. And then to get the optimal speed up results, this is the key, right? This is the important part. So this is just like your in-game controls and control config. You want to go into hotkey config, right? These are all the controls that you set up with your controller or your keyboard or whatever that control the actual game, right? So what I do is you want to have these two options: fast forward toggle and limit frame rate, and you want to set these both to the same hotkey, right? So what that does is it fast forwards your game, and at the same time it also enables the frame skipping, so it makes the game very fast and it should be very smooth. There's another setting here called fast forward slow motion speed control, and you want to just set these to as high as possible. Fast is unlimited. That's just how high the FPS will go when you speed it up, and then slow is just, I set that to the highest as well to make it as smooth as possible. And then the last hotkey that I think is important to set up, because when you speed up a game it usually sounds like shit. This is just for my purposes, but you might want to copy this. If you go into hotkey config, you can actually go into, I think it's other. No, it's you can go into tools, and you can do toggle sound enabled, and you can just put that on one hotkey, and then you just have a hotkey to mute and unmute your game. All right. These are my Desmume settings that I use. This is the Desmume version that I use. I feel like this looks the best, it feels the best, sounds the best. This is what works best for me. Play around with these settings if you're getting like different results. I find most of this through just trial and error, so you should probably do the same thing. I stream Pokemon Challenges on my Twitch channel, and they're here on my YouTube. If you'd like to check that out, follow me on Twitch or subscribe here on YouTube. Be sure to leave a comment talking about what kind of potato salad you like. All right. Thank you very much. And